Hi, in this video series, we are going to begin a very important topic for a newcomer who wants to learn the web designing. And here, we are going to discuss about the CSS. CSS is basically a technology which is very much popular and is very indispensable for the web designing concepts. Nowadays, a lot of concepts like Bootstrap are totally based on the CSS. So here, before getting started while learning with the CSS concept, a candidate must be familiar with HTML. And after that, you must have a web browser and a text editor. Since here I am a Windows user, so I will use the text editors, which is very much free of cost, and any web browser of your choice like Chrome and Firefox. So once you have a knowledge of HTML, once you have these basic softwares like the text editor and the web browser, you are good enough to start with the CSS. So let's discuss about what this CSS is all about. CSS stands for Cascading Style Sheet. Style sheet is the thing in which we are going to work. So basically, style sheet means a list of a document, means a document which is containing a list of all these styles which you want to define for a particular element on the web pages. For example, if you want to make a particular design for the heading tags, you can create a sheet of those styles. Similarly, for all the different tags, maybe the controls as well. So this style sheet will help you out in making this set of style rules. Secondly, there is something called cascading. Cascading means a flow. Whenever you will make changes on the top, it will be flown in the downwards direction. That means if you will make any changes in the style sheet, the changes will definitely be reflected in the web pages as well, the pages who are using those particular style sheets. By the time we will start explaining about the working or the functionality of CSS, we will get to know like how we can make the different sheets for different documents for the style sheet and the HTML. And when we will make some changes in the style sheet, the changes will be reflected to the HTML as well. Is used to control the style of a web document. As I said, it will contain a list of styles for the specific element, or as per your choice, like you just want to make some list of styles and on any particular element you can apply that. Like for example, if I have designed some font family, the text color or something for a specific text, I can apply this particular setting to a heading also, to the paragraph as well. Handles the look and feel of the web page. As I said, it will contain the exact layout of a particular page. So how you want your page to be look, you can make that all inside this CSS. And now let's discuss about the advantages. Since we have HTML and using HTML as well, I can customize the look and feel of my web page. For example, I have a font tag in which we have an attribute like color, the family means the font face, or some more attributes. So using that particular tag, I can customize the appearance of any text. So why should we go for CSS? So let's have an idea of that. Here we are talking about the advantage. It saves time. Saves time means you can design the set of style rules in a single document and later you can apply that in throughout your website. So every time when you are adding a new web page, you don't particularly have to define the set of styles again and again in a specific HTML tag. Page loads faster. When you add the HTML and you keep on adding the different tags like font or maybe some more with some more attributes, the HTML documents will be heavier, and by the time the HTTP protocol will take that particular text to the web browser, the more HTML will take more time to get loaded. If you will make a separate document for CSS, the amount of HTML on a particular page will be lesser and it will be faster in loading. Easy maintenance. Since all these styles have been defined in a single document, so if I want to make some changes in my website appearance, I can do that by changing a single document and all the changes will be reflected to all the web pages in my website. Superior styles to HTML. Some of the tags are actually not containing the more styles for the appearance. For example, if you take H1 tag or any heading tag doesn't have a property or attribute which can change the text color. For example, if you want to say H1 color is equal to red, that is not going to work definitely. So using these styles, you can actually make the attributes applied on a particular tags which basically doesn't have those attributes. Multiple device compatibility. That means if you're creating a web page with the CSS, that particular web page will be compatible with any system like the different operating systems as well as with the different kind of devices, maybe laptop, desktop, mobile devices. It will be applicable to all. So these are the advantages of working with the CSS. So now, using all these benefits, in the next video onwards, we will start implementing the concept of CSS practically. Hi, in this video of CSS, we'll learn how we can include the CSS along with the HTML. So far we have seen a bit, but here we will cover all the way, like what are the different ways of including the CSS with the HTML. So we are going to discuss about the 4 different things. First one is the inline style sheet. Inline style sheet is something where you will write any HTML tag and right after that you will use the style attribute, and inside that you will start writing all the style rules in the CSS syntax. Embedding is something where you will write the CSS code inside the header section of the HTML document inside the style tag. So there we will write all the style rules and those will be applicable for the current HTML page only. So after that, in the body, whichever HTML tag you are putting, either you can use the name selector, ID selector, class selector, universal selector, whatever, but that will be applicable for the current page only. If you want to write a style sheet that should be applicable for all the pages of your website, then you will have to create a separate file with an extension .css, and then you will write all the style rules inside that file. Later, you are having 2 different ways of including those style rules in any HTML page. That is linking and importing. These are the 2 ways which will help us out in getting the style from a separate CSS document and where we will implement that in a current HTML page. So let's see a practical implementation of the different ways how we can link the style sheet with the HTML. So now in this particular video, we'll start working with the inline style sheet. So basically what I'll do, as here you can see there are a couple of tags, that is H1 and H2, and here is the output of these H2 and H1 tag. Now if I want to put the inline style sheet, what I'll do, like the attribute we used to pass in any of the tags so far, here I will use this style as the attribute. After that, here what I'll do, I'll just put some of the values as I was doing in the previous video where we just saw the simple example. Like here, if I want to change the color of this H1, what I'll do, I'll say color to blue. As soon as I'll do that, you can see the color of this particular text, this particular heading is turned to blue. Similarly, if I want to change the font family, again I can come to font family attribute here in this style, and I will use any of, like in the previous video we use MS. That is the same I'm going to do here as well, and here you can see the difference. So basically the way to write the attribute and the value will remain same, but the thing is we will actually pass the value in the style attribute right where I'm putting the tag. Since this one is inline, if I'll put any other H1 tag, these styles will not be applicable in that heading. Like this is a sample text. So here you can see the another heading is not getting affected with the inline because this style attribute is particularly for this H1 only, so it will not be applicable for any other H1 tag. Now if you want to put some common designs for all the H1 available on this web page, as we have done in the initial video as well. So for that, what I'll do, I'm just removing this style from here, and I'll come back to the head section where I'll put the style tag. Just make a good practice to pass the type attribute here, where I'll put a value text / CSS. And here, since I want to pass it for heading, I will use the values like color to blue, font family to MS. So now all the H1 available in this particular page will be turned to the same style set which I have used for the H1 tag, and similarly you can make it for any other tag you want. There are different selectors which I will cover in our next video, but here I'm just telling you what are the different ways of putting these style things in the web page. Alright, so here first thing was the inline style sheet, and here I'm actually embedding the style sheet inside the head section of the same HTML document. Let's put some styles for the H2 as well before proceeding. So here color is green and text decoration is underlined, so it is coming with the underline. Now these are the two ways in which you can put the things in the same HTML document. Remember, if you have passed some of these styles by embedding, and if you want to make some changes in a particular thing, again you can come to H1 tag. For example, if for this particular H1 I want underline, so what I can do, I can actually come and still can pass the inline style sheet. So here what I'll do, I'll say text decoration underline. So not the first H1 but the second H1 will be decorated with the underline like this. Similarly, if you want to change some of the attribute which is being defined initially, like for example I said like all the H1 will be having color blue and the text MS, but maybe if you want particularly this H1 should not come in MS, then you can just pass the same attribute again here, and that will override the previous one. It is like the inheritance if you are from the programming background, that this one is the parent and this one is the child specific values. So if there is nothing defined, then it will take it from the parent, otherwise it will take its own value if you want to make some changes. Like font family, here I want to put it Arial. So I'll come here and you can see this is the Arial text. So this is about the embedding and inline style sheet. But if you want, you can just cut all these style attributes from here, and I'll take another document where I'll save them all. And now let's save it in the same folder. Like currently I'm working in the CSS folder, inside which you have the demo.html, and inside this I will save it as styles.css. and here early you can find the CSS extension as well, so you can choose it from here as well. So now I have saved this CSS. Alright, so now next thing what I'll do, so let's come back to the browser, and if I'll refresh, you can see only the inline style sheet where I said font family Arial and text decoration underline is still there. Rest all the styles are gone away. So what can I do is I can actually link this style sheet into this HTML document, and for that what I'll do, I'll come to the head section again, and here I will pass the link tag. I don't want to put anything inside it, so I just close it. It will be a non-pair tag or empty tag. And now link relation. Relation is that I'm going to use a style sheet. So link relation is a style sheet. Again, you can specify type, which type of text this linked file is going to bring here. It will be the CSS, again the MIME type, and href, the most important thing, that's the hyperreference. So both are in the same folder, and inside that CSS there's a file called styles.css. So again I am passing the relative path out here. So maybe if it's done, I should get these styles back. So let's refresh it here. So now I get all these styles which I have defined in this style. So these are the different ways using which you can actually use a style sheet inside an HTML document. So here we covered the three ways, that is the inline style sheet like this, the embedding style sheet where we put the style tag in the same HTML document, and this is the linking where I created a separate style sheet and then I pass the hyperreference here in the link tag, and here is how it is working. So this is all about the different ways of using the style sheet in HTML. In this video of CSS, we'll discuss about giving these styles to the text. When I talk about text, that means if you want to make some underline under a particular text, or if you want to change the direction or the spacing between the letters or the words, and so much more things. So let's see a practical implementation where we will give the possible styles to the texts. So for giving these styles to the text, here what I am doing, I have taken several paragraph tags, and in each I am just going through the different changes for the text. Like in the first paragraph, what I did, I used the color attribute of style sheet and I have passed any particular value. Like we have already seen, like we have different options of passing the color. Here I am using the keywords and simply I pass red as a color. You can use RGB or any hexadecimal way to pass the color format. So this particular paragraph will be of red color. Now here when I say direction is right to left, that means it will be aligned to the right hand side. Similarly, when I talk about the letter spacing, that means the space between each letter of this paragraph will be of 5 pixels, while in the next one, when I am passing word spacing, it will be 5 pixels, means the space will be between the words, not between the letters. And when I say text indent, that means this paragraph will not start from the absolute left position, but it will take the space of 1 centimeter from the left side. So let's save this particular page and come to the browser. And here when I will refresh it, you can see all the things out here. Like this is the first paragraph with the red color. This is right to left where we pass RTL, that is right to left. This is a paragraph with 5 pixel letter spacing. So you can see there is a big gap between the letters, while here you can see there is some abnormal space. Like here you can see there is less space between the words, but here it is more because I have passed 5 pixel space. And finally this one is the indent where I pass 1 centimeter indent from the left side. So as I said, it is having a gap of 1 centimeter from the left corner, and then the paragraph will begin. Alright, so here let's cover some more examples for the text. Like here you can see I have used the different options regarding the text, like text decoration. Alright, so in text decoration I have several things, like I can make it underline, line through, overline and blink. That line through means the line will be passing over the text, and overline means it will be up, means on the up side of the text, while it will show you the blinking text. So everywhere I am using the text decoration attribute with the different possible values. So let's come to the browser now, and here you can see the underline, line through, overline and blinking text. As here you can see blinking is not functioning, so it depends on the different browser whether they support the text blinking or not. So for now maybe this Chrome is not supporting the text blinking. Now Let's go for the another attribute for the text, that is the text transform. And here I'm using a simple case like when I'm writing a paragraph, I'm just using my default way of writing, but using these different values I can actually make it in the different way, like capitalize, uppercase and lowercase. So let's save it and come to the browser. So here you can see in capitalize what will happen. The first letter of each word will be in the caps, rest will be in the small. But here in the uppercase and lowercase, as the name says, the complete text will be either in the uppercase or in the lowercase. So this is how you can work with the text transform attribute for the text styling. And finally, we have the attribute called text shadow, where I have passed three values, that is 4 pixel and blue. That means the shadow will be 4 pixel right, 4 pixel down and will be of blue color. So when I'll save and will come here, you can see there is a blue shadow in the background which is moved away a bit, right? So it is 4 pixel right and 4 pixel down to the actual text. Alright, I can just show you one more example, like I made it 6 pixel, 4 pixel. So when I'll refresh, you can see it is moved bit more towards the right. Alright, so it's first one is for the right position, second one is for the down position, and third one is the color of the shadow. Right, now if you want to make the shadow a bit blurred, you can pass some more pixel for the shadow. So here I will say it is 8px, that is 8 pixel. So I'll refresh and here you can see it is giving me more pleasant effect, right? So it is 8 pixel of the shadow. So these are all the things which you can do while working with the text in CSS. Hi, in this video of CSS we will discuss about giving the styles to the font. Like if you want to give the font a different color or some style rules like the font family you want to change, if you want to give some styles like make it bolder, make it italic or something, you can go for the fonts in these styles. So let's see what all different options are available while working with the fonts in CSS. So here now with the reference of font style in CSS, I have taken a number of paragraph tags, and in each p tag you can see there are different options available for the fonts. Like in the first one where I have used font family attribute of CSS, I have passed three different kind of fonts, that is SMS, monotype cursiva and courier. So it will give the priority to the first font, but if the first font is not installed in your system, then the second font will be applied. And again, if second font is not available in your system, then we'll go for the third font, and if none of the form is available in your system, then the default font will be shown to the user. But in this particular case, in my case, I do have MS, at least everyone has this particular font. So the first font will be applied to this text called changed font family. And here you can see in the output, you can see this particular font is nothing but MS. Similarly, if through CSS you want to pass some styles, like you want to make any particular text as italic, you can use this CSS class font style, rather not CSS class but the attribute. So font style is the attribute here and the value is italic. Let's say if you want to make the text italic at the runtime in any particular event, you can't add the italic tag at that particular time. So that's why we should learn how to make a particular text italic using the CSS attribute. So font style italics, and here this is italics is the text. So you can see this is italics. Alright, so this is the font style italic which I have applied for this particular text. Similarly, we do have a variant here for the font where I'll use the attribute font variant, and the value is small caps. You can make it none, which is by default. So what it will do, all the capital letters which are available here, like this is small caps example. So TSCE, the respective capital words will be shown in the capital, but all the alphabets who are available here in small cases, in small letters, will be shown in the smaller caps like this. Alright, so you can see the size of these fonts is smaller than the caps size form. Alright, so this is how you can use the small caps. Similarly, if you want to make it bold, any particular text, you can use the attribute font weight at that particular time, which will make it bold, bolder, and maybe you can put some numeric values as well, depending if your particular browser supports that font options. All right. So like here you can see font weight is bold. If you want to make some nested text even more bolder, you can put it bolder as well. Now, next thing which comes here is font size. Font size is here, like you can see, 30 pixels. We do have the different measurement units as we have learned. So here I am passing the unit as pixel. So the font size of this particular text will be nothing but 30 pixel, as you can see here. Alright. Similarly, you can increase or decrease size as per your requirement. Alright, now it's 40. So let's make it 40. Alright. Similarly, if you want to use small and large, like in HTML, we do have the small tag and the big tag. But here, if you want, you can use the font size attribute in that particular situation, and you can use the value small and large. So comparatively to the default text, this text will be in the smaller font, and similarly comparatively to the current text, this particular text will be larger. As you can see here, this is smaller in size while this one is larger in size. This is your default font size. Alright, so comparatively you can check, like this one is small and this one is large. And here I have used the shorthand notation for passing the different font styles and a single line. Alright, like font, colon, italic, small caps, bold, 50 pixel, Georgia. Alright, so this is the font family which I am working with. This is the size, this is the font weight, this is font variant, this is font style. Alright, so all the different attributes which we have used so far have been applied in a single line, and this one is the shorter way to style the text. So while working with CSS, you can use these various options in order to style your texts. Now let's get started with the basic implementation of CSS. So here in this practical implementation, we will see how we can start working with the basic CSS with the existing HTML document. So let's get started by implementing the CSS in the HTML document. So for getting started with a very basic example of CSS, what I'm going to do is I will put the style tag in the head section. In HTML, we have already learned that the head section is basically meant for putting the title or for any resources, and here I am going to use my style as a resource. So for that, what I'll do, I'll start the thing with the style tag, and within this style tag I can also put an attribute which will tell the MIME type, since it will not be a basic HTML syntax. So in general way, what we do, we will put some MIME type text / CSS. Alright, now inside this style tag you can put the style attributes. Alright, so what I'll do, I'll put for the couple of tags here, let's say for the h1 tag. So for h1, what I want to do is I want to show it with the color blue, and I want to show it in the MS font. So for that I'll say font family :MS. So basically you can observe what I'm doing. H1 is the element for which I'm putting this style. Now inside these delimiters, these curly braces, I will put all these style things what I want to put, and then inside this I will put the different attributes, such as color is the attribute, blue is the value. So I will separate the attribute and the value with a colon. And similarly, if you want to pass multiple attributes, you will pass semicolon as a separator. So you can just put semicolon again, and in case you want to put some more styles, you can continue by putting that. So this is all what I want to do for h1. Similarly, let's put one more, that is h2. And here I'll just put one style, that is I want the color should be green. Alright, so what happen when I'll come to the body and I'll simply put h1 tag with the text like welcome, and in h2 I'll put another text easy learning. Alright, so let's come back to the browser, and when I'll refresh this, you can see the h1 tag is coming with two attributes, that is the color blue and the font is Comic Sans MS, while the h2 tag is simply coming in the green color with the default font and all the default attributes. So this is one of the way of putting this style. In our coming videos, I'll show you what are the different ways to style the HTML document, like whether it will be inline, the outside some file, or like embedding the style in this way. But this is all for now. In this chapter of CSS, we will discuss about the colors. Colors are basically one of the very important aspects whenever we talk about the formatting or giving some attractive look to our web page. So we will learn how and what are the different ways of passing the color for a specific element of the HTML. So here we have 4 different ways of doing the same. First is passing the hexadecimal code, short hexadecimal code, RGB absolute, and keywords. As we know, like whenever we talk about a color, all the colors are made up of 3 basic colors, that is red, green and blue. So this RGB combination here will help us out in forming the different colors which we can make. So hexadecimal, short hex code and RGB absolute, that is the red, green, blue absolute, and the keywords. Keywords will help us out in writing the name of a specific color. So here is a short example. Like the first one is hex code, where we can see like I'll start with hash and then I will follow 6-digit value. Alright, that will be from 0 to F anything. Alright, like if I'll put 0 means red, green, blue, all are not participating in this thing, so it is going to be black. The first 2 is for the red. As you can see, when I put F in the first 2, it is red, remaining are 0. Similarly, if red and blue are 0, means first 2 is for red, next 2 is for green, and last 2 is for blue. So here the mid 2 is for green, so it is going to give you green. Similarly, if you have F in the last and 0 for the remaining, it is going to be blue. Now let's come to the short hexadecimal, where in spite of passing 6-digit value, we'll pass 3 values only, but again followed by hash itself. So 000 means none is participating, that's black. Again, first for red, second for green, and third one is for blue. Then it is RGB absolute, where I will use this RGB function and will pass 3 different parameters. The first number is for red, second is for blue, second is for green, and third is for blue. So again, this is the RGB. The value can vary from 0 to 255. So if I'll pass 255 in the first, that means it's going to be red, second it's for green, third value is for blue. You can pass different values in all the 3 parameters to get the different colors available. Keywords. Keywords means you can write the name of the color. That is the simplest way, but it will restrict some of the color variants. Like for example, if you write red, it will give you absolute red, not any other variant which is somehow equal to red. Alright, so this is the keywords. If you want to make some more color combinations, you can use these things. So Whenever you want to give the color to the text or to particular background, you can write one of these way of passing the color. So in our next video onwards, we will start working with the colors in a different manner. Now, in this video of CSS3, we will talk about the animations in it. So far, when we were doing the transformation, maybe 2D or 3D transformation, you were not getting that exact picture. Maybe it was something like if it is rotated, you may be not getting how it is getting rotated. But using the animation, you can get some animated things as well. For example, you may get a moving text using the animation. You may get some rotational boxes of div tag, obviously, using the animations. So here what we will do, we will just set a starting position and the finishing position, and this animation will take us between that particular path. Alright, so let's see a practical where we will put some basic animations using CSS3.
Alright, so now let's hear it for the animation. So let's start with a very basic example where, like all the previous videos, most of the previous videos which we were doing is I'm creating a box with the width 150, height 150, means it is a square shape, background color red. Alright, so it is like a normal box, but after that it starts with the animation thing. So what are the things out there? First thing is we have to put the name of animation, because there could be a number of divs, there could be number of element where you want to perform animation of different type. So for specifying each animation, you will give it a unique name. Like here, I have taken the name example. Now after example, it is a name. Like after that, it is about for how many duration you are preparing this animation. So for me, I'm taking it 4 seconds. Now, in these 4 seconds, what all I want to do? So that we'll have to set by using the keyframes. And when you specify keyframes, you will have to tell also like which particular example, means which particular animation, because here I have given the name. So you will have to specify for which particular element you are going to perform this keyframes thing. So I'm doing it for the example. What I want to do, I will start the color transformation, like the background color, I will change it from red to yellow. Alright, so since you can see background color is already red, so I will start it from red, so both will get mixed, and then I will change the color to yellow in 4 seconds. Alright, so as you can see, it is for that particular div whose id is my div. So in body, I only have one div with the id my div. So let's save it, come to the browser and refresh it. So in the 4 seconds of time, this box will transform itself from red to yellow. As soon as the transformation is over, it will come back to its original one, because I have given a default background color to this div, that is red. Alright, so again I will refresh. In 4 seconds it will come from red to yellow, and once it is done, it will come back to its default one. So this was just about the keyframes thing where I changed the background color. Similarly, you can change this position also, whatever you want. So now in this second example, I'm going to add some more things. Here the animation name and duration will remain same, but I'm going to make some changes. Like in the previous one, it was starting from red and finishing with yellow. But if you want to take it from red to green, bypassing some of the colors, you can do that as well. So what I'm doing here, I'm using percentage thing right here. So at 0% means at the very beginning, the background color of example, means for this particular animation, will start from red. Once the 25% of the time will take place, 25% means the 1 second. Alright, it is because it's total 4 seconds. So when the 25% of the time will passed, I will change it to yellow. Again, when 50% will be over, it will be blue, and then at the 100th percent, means when it is completed, it will turn into green. So I'm just making it from red to green by passing the colors like yellow and blue. So still I have that my div out here in the body. So let's save it, come to the browser, let's refresh it. So you can see, all right. So let's refresh it, starting from red, yellow, blue and green. All right. So comparatively you can see yellow is staying for lesser period of time because only from 0 to 25 it is being there, but from 50 to 100 it's blue. So the transformation between the blue and green is comparatively slower. All right. So this is how it is happening, and once it is done, it is again coming back to red, which is the default color. So now, so far we were just making the changes in color. Let's see what all we can do. So let's make some changes in this particular code so that we will be able to make the changes in the position as well. So as here, all the things are same, like the height, the width, the background color, the example, the name of the animation and the duration. Just one thing is more added, that is position, because obviously I'm going to change the position, so I will have to tell like according to what I'm going to make the changes. So it is relative positioning. So whatever changes you will do, it will be relatively to the previous change. So at the 0th percent means from the very beginning, it will be left 0, top 0, means it will be at the topmost position. Now after that, when it is 25% done, it is yellow in color and it will move 200 pixel from left. Alright, means it will move towards right to 200 pixel. When it is 50% done, it is still 200 pixel left, but it will come 200 pixel from the top. That means it will move down to 200 pixel. When 70% will be done, it is 0%, means it is going towards left in the same height. And when 100% will be done, it will be to its original position. That is, it started from 0, 0, it will be at 0, 0. All right. So let's save it, come to the browser, make the changes. You see, it is moving. All right. It is not getting repeatedly, but yes, it is moving. Like this is 0, 0, now 0, 200, 200, 200, 200, 0 and 0, 0. All right. So that is about the left and the top values which I was reading out. Now, if you want to make some delay in the animation, you can add animation delay. All right. So when I add animation delay 2 seconds, that means after 2 seconds, the animation will start taking place. All right. So let's save it. Let's see how the changes are done. So after 2 seconds, you see it has started moving. All right. Let me refresh it. 1, 2, and now it started. All right. So this is about the delay. Now you see, like once it is done, it is stopped. If you want to make it repetitive, you can add one more option out here. Let's see what is that. And that is animation iteration count. Here I said it 3. All right. So animation iteration count is 3. So it will go on for 3 times. All right. So let's see. After 2 seconds, it will start. So this is the one cycle. This is the second cycle. Delay will be only for the first time. And this one is the third cycle. All right. Now it is done. So if you want, you can also write infinite or any particular number. So let's refresh after 2 seconds. All right. So it is 1, 2, 3. It's not going to stop obviously after 3 as well, and it will keep moving unless you make some changes or you do whatever. All right. Okay. Now there is something more called the direction. So animation direction. You can make it reverse also. All right. All right. So let's save the changes, come to the browser. And now after 2 seconds, it will start in the reversed direction. All right. you can also make it alternate. So once it will be in the correct direction, next time it will be reversed. So I'm changing it both the places. It is alternate. So first time it will go to the actual position, actual direction, and next time it will just reverse. All right. So it will be alternate. Once it is single, it means clockwise. Second time it is anti-clockwise. All right. So these are the things, like obviously when it comes to animation you can do a lot of things out there, but yeah, this is some of the basics using which you can start planning what all you want while working with the animations.